Hello everybody and welcome to the Constable. Please subscribe now to get the latest news on archaeology, ancient history, civilizations and world mythology. After centuries of mystery, archaeologists have made startling new discoveries about how the pyramids were built at the Egyptian city of Giza. Built 4,500 years ago during Egypt's Old Kingdom, the pyramids of Giza are more than elaborate tombs. They are also one of historians' best sources of insight into how the ancient Egyptians lived. Since their walls are covered with illustrations of agricultural practices, city life, and religious ceremonies. But on one subject they remain curiously silent. They offer no insight into how the pyramids were built. It is a mystery that has plagued historians for thousands of years, leading the widest speculation into the murky territory of alien intervention and perplexing the rest. But the work of several archaeologists in the last few years has dramatically changed the landscape of Egyptian studies. After millennia of debates, the mystery might finally be over. Why have the pyramids perplexed generations of archaeologists? For one, they are an astonishing engineering feat made particularly impressive by what we know their architects didn't have. For example, the Egyptians hadn't yet discovered the wheel, so it would have been difficult to transport massive stones, some weighing as much as 90 tons from place to place. They hadn't invented the pulley, a device that would have made it much easier to lift large stones into place. They didn't have iron tools to chisel and shape their stonework. And yet, Khufu, the largest of the Giza pyramids, was started in 2550 BC and is 481 feet of massive breathtaking stonework. The pyramids and its neighboring tombs have survived 4,500 years of wars and desert storms, and they are made from plans and measurements accurate to within fraction of an inch. Dr. Craig Smith, author of the groundbreaking 2018 book How the Pyramids Was Built, put it best when he said, "With their rudimentary tools, the pyramid builders of ancient Egypt were about as accurate as we are today with 20th century technology. What is more, many historians are convinced that the building materials for the pyramids came from nearly 500 miles away." The heated debate over how the pyramids were built. To solve the problem of how such large stones traveled so far, some researchers have hypothesized that the Egyptians rolled their stones across the deserts. Though they didn't have the wheel as we think of it today, they might have made use of cylindrical trees laid side to side along the ground. If they lifted their blocks onto those tree trunks, they could effectively roll them across the desert. This theory goes a long way towards explaining how the pyramid's smaller limestone blocks might have made their way to Giza. But it is hard to believe it will work for some of the truly massive stone featured in the tombs. Proponents of this theory also have to contend with the fact that there isn't any evidence that the Egyptians actually did this, clever though it could have been. There are no depictions of stones or anything else being rolled this way in Egyptian acts or writings. Then, there is the challenge of how to lift the stones into position on an increasingly tall pyramid. Ancient Greek historians born after the pyramid's construction believed the Egyptians built ram-like scaffoldings along the faces of the tombs and carried stones up that way, while some modern theories have pointed to strange air pockets that suggest that the rams were actually inside the walls of the pyramids, which is why no sign of them remains on the external or exterior faces. No conclusive evidence have been found in favor of either of these ideas, but both remain intriguing possibilities. Startling new solutions shake up the debate. A Amid such mystery, two startling new revelations about how the pyramids were built have recently come to light. The first was the work of a Dutch team who took a second look at the Egyptian art depicting laborers hauling massive stones on sledges through the desert. They realized that the tiny figure pouring water in the stone's path wasn't simply offering the desert some kind of ceremonial libation. He was wetting the sand because of the principles of fluid mechanics. Water helps the grains of sand stick together and significantly reduces friction. The team built their own replica sledges and tested their theory. And the results? Interesting. The Egyptians might have been able to move stones larger than archaeologists and historians ever believed possible. But that is not all. Egypt expert Mark Lehner has put forward another theory that makes how the pyramids were built a little less mysterious. Though today the pyramids sit in the middle of miles of dusty desert, they were once surrounded by the floodplain of the Nile River. Lehner hypothesized that if you could look far beneath the city of Cairo, you would find ancient Egyptian waterways that channeled the Nile's water to the site of the pyramid's construction. The Egyptians would have loaded massive stones onto boats and transported them on the river right to where they needed them. Best of all, Lehner has proof. His excavations have revealed an ancient port right by the pyramids where the stones would have landed. The icing on the cake, though, is the work of Pierre Tollet, an archaeologist who in 2013 unearthed the papyrus journal of a man named Mera, who appears to have been a low-level bureaucrat charged with transporting some of the materials to Giza. After 4 years of laborious translation, Tollet discovered the ancient diarist who was responsible for the oldest papyrus scroll ever found. He described his experiences overseeing a team of 40 workmen who opened dikes to divert water from the Nile into man-made canals that led straight to the pyramids. He recorded his journey with several gigantic limestone blocks from Tura to Giza, and with his writings offered the most direct insight there has ever been into how the pyramids were built, putting a piece of one of the world's oldest puzzles into place. Mark Lehner's excavation have also settled another debate about how the pyramids were built, the question of slave labor. For years, popular culture has imagined the monuments as a bloody site of backbreaking forced labor where thousands perish in involuntary servitude. Though the work was dangerous, it is now thought that the men who built the tombs were most likely skilled laborers who volunteered their time in exchange for excellent rations. The 1999 excavation of what researchers sometimes call the Pyramid City shed light on the lives of the builders who made their homes in nearby compounds. The archaeological team unearthed astonishing quantities of animal bones, especially young cow bones, suggesting the pyramid's laborers regularly ate prime beef and other prize meats cultivated on the outlying farms. They found comfortable-looking barracks that appeared to house a rotating crew of laborers, fitted with the conveniences of well-off Egyptians. They also uncovered a substantial graveyard of workers who died on the job. Yet, another reason why researchers now think the men responsible for the pyramid's construction were likely to be skilled laborers. The work was dangerous enough without throwing it untrained into the mix. Though they were handsomely rewarded and most likely working voluntarily, but not slaves, how they felt about the risk they took remains a mystery. Were they proud to serve the pharaohs and bear their vehicles to the afterlife? Or was their labor a social obligation, a kind of draft that mixed danger and duty? We can only hope further excavations will continue to offer exciting new answers. If you have any questions or any idea to share with us, kindly drop it in comment section. Like, share and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video. See you next time.